We are back at the 2016 Causeway Scrabble Challenge in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. My name is Jesse Matthews, here with Chris May, as we provide live analysis on the game between the two best players in the field so far, and probably the two best in the room, if we're to be honest. David is one game plus some spread ahead of Nigel. Esther won a very important game against David last round, who was 2 games clear of the whole field plus some spread, and she pulled him back down within 1. Nigel, of course, is capable of any of the very best here of pulling David right back down to level. So a must win for they're exchanging for 10 punches there. A must win for well, not must, but an important win for Nigel to pull David back down the field, and the field will be rooting for Nigel for sure.
Yeah, and a win by Nigel here will, I think, cement a few more games between these guys, and I think everyone would enjoy that.
It's good for watching, and it's good news for everyone else trying to catch up to these guys.
Absolutely. And for those who may be just joining the feed for the first time in the tournament, or who've been in and out, we were just discussing, Jesse and I, which of the days featured games which day's worth of featured games has been the most good to watch. I think we concluded it's day 3 so far.
Yeah, I think yesterday's for sure. So
if you're interested in going back and looking at some of the games that have been archived on YouTube, have a look at day 3's first of all. That's rounds 20 through 29. And so now this game's underway, and we're just looking to see what the two players have drawn on their opening racks. And a very nice rack for Nigel, which will bingo with an E. And David has the E, but he probably won't be playing it this turn with the rest of his tiles, unless he decides that 12 is worth points.
Basil.
Oh, hello. My apologies, looks like it was Nigel to kick off.
Yeah, we had an arrow on both players here for some reason, so sorry guys. Got Nigel first, and Eldar with a little bit of vowelitis.
So Obeli is an option for him. Something paralleling Basil is very likely an option for him. And there's definitely enough points on this board that he wouldn't be thinking seriously about the change, I would imagine.
No, he can definitely score enough, I would say. The question is what he decides is most worth taking points-wise, or if he decides to fish, which I don't think is necessary. I think probably just something with enough points, keeping a decent lead.
It's good to have the Americans still with us. What time is it over there at the moment?
In America, it is 12:35 a.m. on the West Coast and 3:35 on the East Coast. Joel, as we know, is awake at various hours of the evening, so 3:35 a.m. where he is living. Cesar is up at about 12:35 on his end of the day. Kenji, I think, is in Nevada, so it should be 1:35 a.m.
Cool, happy days. Well, buckle up. Still some good action to go for the rest of the day, I think. This is the 3rd last game of the day.
Oh yeah, Chris, I keep picturing you as East Coast, because that's where you've been so long, but yes, you are now in Missouri, so that would be Central Time for you. Someone from pretty much every time zone in North America watching. Cats Brown hasn't gone to bed before 3:30 a.m. the last 3 days. Well, we are thankful for your support.
And so what's the time in Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake is mountain time.
That means nothing to me.
Sorry, that's 1:36 a.m.
Okay, that means something to me.
Sorry. I forgot you were not familiar with North American time zones.
I'm not.
Bex, thank you again for being along with us. We look forward to having you again tomorrow, and thanks in advance for watching the replays. We'd love your feedback. All of you, actually, we'd love your feedback, because
even as we go into the last day and for the future, we'd like to improve our broadcast whenever we
Absolutely.
continue to do this. So Chris says, this is stupid. Next time I'm just going to Malaysia so I can sleep at night.
Love to see you here.
We would love to see you here. You are missed.
Alright, so Dave found the balancing parallel play for the most points available, and Nigel reparallels there with Cora keeping DOT. Not an ideal lead, but the ETA is a nice setup for his T.
Yep.
So that's a nice little bit of positional management from Nigel Richards there. And a helpful 44-point lead after his second turn. Dave still drawing slightly dodgily with quite a lot of duplicates. And nothing floating but the L, which doesn't help him one little bit. He'll be looking quickly for double doubles through that ETA. Don't think he's going to find one. Let us know if you think different. So it doesn't look like the easiest of plays to me for Dave. He could consider IO9. No, he couldn't. It's not a word. Not the first time I've done that this tournament.
Well, I did it too. Several times. There's a certain word
In
sometimes.
which case I think
you
it's
whip
just
on.
Lin. He's just going to default to Lin or Lion, and Line it is. But Nigel, with a nice bingo rack, is going to capitalise on that L column. Bora and Roseted at the very least, and perhaps there's something even better. Nigel Richards taking a nice early lead there with that healthy bingo score from Roseted, and we wait for that to be committed. And as we do, I've been handed the current results, that is, going into the game that we're currently viewing.
What have we got?
And those results are not currently up on causewaychallenge.com, I don't think. We've got, they're around out of date there. So I'll read them out quickly, and then I'll also enter the top 10 into the chat for anyone interested. So, card standings. David Eldar, 25 wins and an 18.56 spread. A game ahead of Nigel Richards, 24 wins and a 12.73 spread. He is a game ahead of three players, Esther Perrins, Harshan Lamabadasuria and Mark Nyman. They all have 23 wins and mark a significant spread deficit. That's the top group, 5 players. They're 2 games ahead of 6th place, that's Alistair Richards. He has 21 wins, and also on 21 we've got Andrew Fisher, Tacha Kuerat and Irinde Saidu. And then it's Dave Wiegand of the US in 10th place on 20 and a half. They're the top 10. I'm going to enter them into the chat now. If there's another player whose fortunes you're interested in, let us know and we can tell you how they're doing.
I do like the sad emoji as well, Cesar. It is very nice in the YouTube arsenal of emoji.
So I'm just taking my first look at the board in a few minutes, and what I see is that there's been an exchange of vertical plays since Nigel's bingo. I assume that is that autoed from Dave and Fane from Nigel, or the other way around?
Correct.
So Dave to play with triplicate I, 100-point deficit, and a playable bingo on Nigel Richards' rack. That's from 8A across. And,
Piteous.
And also Piteous, which plays as well. So guaranteed bingo for Nigel. He's going to be taking a healthy lead here, no matter what Dave does.
I suit Pierre. That is one of my favorite Collins words, actually.
Yeah. Look it up, guys, if you don't know what it means.
I'm probably not pronouncing it right. I know in Afrikaans.
No, I have a couple of Afrikaans friends, and I tried saying the word to them, and they just laughed at me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try it either.
We do, however, know what it means.
So it looks like Dave has played across to the top right, keeping two eyes, but taking some points to keep himself within striking distance. And so Nigel Richards, any chance he takes the cagey positional play down the end column? I think there is a little bit of a chance that he does that.
Yeah. It's hard to pass up the points, though, so...
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Nigel's playing at a disadvantage on the top table because the rack cameras, which are positioned really very close to the racks indeed, are on the left of the players, and Nigel, of course, is a lefty, so his entire scorecard and writing, sort of comfortable writing attitude is completely hampered by these cameras, which he was complaining in his very gentle way about at the lunch break. And
to give you a hint as to the Afrikaans word soet, or however you pronounce it, is the Afrikaans word for salt. And then I'll let you deduct what the PL might mean when seeing the definition.
And hello.
He is going to go.
He did go the defensive play down the end column. Thought that was a bit of a Nigel play. And I had forgotten that Taupies came in. That must be CSW 15. Yeah. So we're gradually getting to know Nigel's game. I was just thinking of his ascribed play. Of course, the positional considerations were different there, but you can never bet against him playing a very, very defensively positioned bingo, and of course going to a bingo, 100, almost 150 point lead here. He's taking out those vertical bingos on the right-hand side of the board, leaves him with more controllable long-term future. David Eldar, 140 points in arrears, and he's only ace at the moment in terms of how his tiles go on the board is that R hook onto Fein. But even that doesn't seem to fit in terms of getting across for 14J. You can play something like Merv, but he may not like that.
And Lewis Mackay suggested the same Merv and longer plays of Omnivore, says Cesar, in the right circumstances. Nice spot.
Dave taking his time here.
Nick Ferns, did we ever figure out who you actually are?
I know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to remain anonymous? Is that what's going on?
Well, I'm not sure. That's why I haven't outed him.
Okay.
If he's happy to be outed, then he can say something in the chat.
Okay. Otherwise, I'll find out off the air.
He's certainly a very respectable player. I can tell you that much.
Oh, I can gather based on the comments that's been made. I'm just not sure who's who. Happy to come out of the closet. Well, that makes a few of us.
I do believe we've been joined by Mr. Noin Fernando.
Ah. I can see it with Ferns. Nick, that throws me off a little bit from Noin. Welcome, Noin.
Thanks for sticking with our coverage so much over the course of the week.
Yeah.
It's been great to have your input on the positions.
Thank you. Appreciate the feedback, both what you like and what you feel we can improve on. We definitely want to continue to make this broadcast the best we possibly can.
Dave does go for the Merv, creating a nice bingo line down on row 15. Nigel, bit of an awkward cue, but there is that handy I spot up at 7G as a bailout for him, and indeed if he gets an A play, he could get a healthy score up there too. So he may block the bottom row with something like Woman, and that's exactly what he does. If I'm not mistaken, Dave's left with a good looking rack, but nowhere to play all the tiles.
And Nigel with a whole bunch of junk.
Yikes. Well, I expect he'll drop the cue and at least try and play through it for one more time. But yeah, with that kind of rubbish on Nigel's rack, 150 points is still makeable for Dave with 2 blanks in the pool, despite the fact that it won't be a bingo on this turn. He's got decent points available with things hooking Coda in the J column, and I expect he's also got decent points available down the O column. He could play things like Drone in there for what's probably about 40 points, and that's certainly worth considering.
As has been pointed out in the chat, there are fairly few vowels left, so something like Rind, while it doesn't score as much, keeps one more vowel. Interesting input there. Let's see the ratio. We got 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh yeah, 1 out of 3. Yeah, I haven't really compared the numbers in my head yet, but Drone certainly scores a fair bit more while using one more vowel. And David is a fair bit behind and in need of catching up, so maybe it's worth not playing Drone.
Not sure what you do instead though. I mean, the J column, there are some points there, but not as many, and you're also knocking up bingo lines.
Well, Jason's suggestion of grind in order to keep the E. But yeah, drone is a lot of points, so...
Yeah. Ultimately, I think the points spoke there.
I guess with 2 blanks unseen, you can make a case for not completely worrying about having constant heavy racks all the time.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Chris is still recovering, Kenji. Certainly not quite as phlegmy or coffee as before, but taking the headset off once in a while to go and deal with the stuffiness.
Sorry about that, guys. Hope it wasn't too gross for you. I'm powering through the strepsils. When I arrived here about 5 days ago, I could hardly talk, so I'm doing a bit better than that now.
Your voice is pretty clear. Sultry.
It's a little lower than usual.
Phone operator volume. I'm guessing that perhaps the camera was obscured, Cesar, earlier, and that's why perhaps they didn't see what David's whole rack was. Nigel Mimo has another W after having played woman. Servicewoman, yeah, that would have been really cool.
Reckon he would have spotted it.
There's a non-zero chance.
Non-zero is my estimation as well, yeah.
It's a nice spot by Cesar. Bien visto, Taquito. And Dingy by David Eldar, keeping JEEC.
A few other good 7-tile extensions of woman after that southwest triple. Who can come up with them?
I think I might know one.
My CSW 12 search of Ziziva is bringing up 5 other ones in addition to Servicewoman.
I think Counterwoman works, doesn't it?
Counterwoman does not work.
No? Okay.
What did you think it meant?
Well, Counterman or Counterwoman, like just someone working at a counter. But Weatherwoman, yeah, that's got to be it. Cesar's just written it in there.
Well, actually, no, not according to this.
Oh, wow. So no Weatherwoman either. Countrywoman is suggested by Lewis Mackay.
Countrywoman, yep.
There you go. Very nice. Bond goes down by Nigel. That was an option I thought was a possibility. Just wasn't sure if it was best. Nigel believes it is, so down it goes.
Working Woman, very nice. That is Joel Sherman, isn't it?
That is Joel Sherman, yep.
And we also have a game of Scrabble to watch. And another tricky choice from Dave, I think. Again, vowels that don't work with the opportunities on the board.
Councilwoman from Ed Oculus.
Jason Katz-Brown, thank you. The reason I didn't pick that up is that my Ziziva for CSW15 only goes up to 10 letters, I think, so I'm unable to do searches for words longer than that.
So Weatherwoman is in there. Yeah, it did seem pretty weird that it wouldn't be, and it's amazing that it's only CSW15, that it wasn't in an earlier edition.
So Dave takes Jeune for more or less face value, but creating some play on that board. And he'll still be thinking he has winning chances, even though it is a very slow developing board where there's really only one sector in play right now. He'll be looking to play a fork quite soon and draw a blank and try to catch up.
Ooh,
And
Eldar
he's
has
got
the blank.
a very, very handy looking draw here.
But Kane, as Kenji says, is fairly devastating to the board.
Doesn't fully lock it up, of course. F1 bingos still go ending in O, but that's already a long shot. And in fact, Nigel may hold the case O himself if Quacklepool is correct.
César ha dicho que no le gusta. June, yeah, I'm not sure I like it either, César.
What are the other options, guys? It's going to be interesting to see. I wonder if Nigel may even consider playing QUEY and saving his N. That will backfire for him if he does it.
Envy has been suggested by Oliver Jenner O'Shea.
And with the case O, that's a decent idea, I think. It doesn't hook. The F column's a very low concern, and Envy doesn't hook for a 7. And keeping the QU synergy, not a bad play at all. That. I really like the look of Envy, actually. Really, really like it. Yeah, really, really like it, actually. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Haha, Nigel Richards plays Envy.
Envy. Interesting. Just because he can, drop the S on the top.
What is that? Just a ploy to get to the end of the game faster? Is that seriously why he dropped the S? Or he just doesn't want Dave to play... I don't know what Dave was going to play that he can't still play in terms of Taj or Haj or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he's worried about 9s through the AL. Maybe. Well, Nigel Richards makes a move that almost nobody but Nigel Richards would make. Of course, it's not really an S board, but your instinctive heuristics tell you to keep that S back. I think, however, that either that or Envy was a better play than the Q plays.
Oh, and Lewis Mackay with a beautiful find of lecithin.
Oh, really nice, yeah. Jason also suggests that the vowel deficiency in the pool might be a reason, and indeed it may well.
And here we go, lecithin from David Eldar is a nice play. However, Nigel has Quell coming down on the very next turn. That's a game over. Oh,
Lecithin
is with an I.
I was going to say lecithin, I only knew it the one way. I think maybe, Lewis, you are confusing with lekithoi or something like that.
Oh, lecithis, it takes an S at the end.
Ah, okay.
There we go. But yeah, Quell is still coming down.
Lecithis. It's a beautiful play by David Eldar. It's a really quality bingo, isn't it?
Unfortunately for him, Nigel was about to score 60 plus.
Yep, Nigel kills the board stone dead for bingos with Quell here. Or Quell. I'd be pretty tempted by Quell, keeping that O back.
Oh yeah, true, for the hook. Yeah, Eldar's throwing the other blank, but unfortunately a whole bunch of the predicted consonants to go with it.
He's still going to be facing a 100-point deficit, and that is going to be... Well, hang on. So Nigel empties the bag by playing 4 tiles, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's done.
So Nigel need only ensure that there's no outplay with a blank O.
Yeah, so he's just going to be looking for AAO.
And that doesn't seem to have taken him too long, unless he's just counting there.
Parados, I think, might be possible from his perspective. Or... yeah, Parados should be possible from his perspective as the one bonus play.
So, not necessarily a straightforward play of Qual or Quell here for Nigel to close the game out. Losing chances against Parados if Nigel were to empty the bag and pull the X out. Hence, there's a bit of work to do for Nigel here. Can he find a 100% move that doesn't empty the bag? Is Cog going to be best, keeping the Quell back and assuming that he can beat anything that Dave might have down the B column? We'll find out.
Noeen points out Phyletic, that he looked up, also would have played. Cole, Jason Casperon says must be 100% because he'd be up by so much. Yeah, I haven't done the math to see if he plays Cole and then Parados goes down, what the scores would be after both.
It looks like a win for Dave to me if Nigel were to pull the X and the F.
Yeah, because that would be the worst case scenario.
XFCG. So possibly a short play in the F column with only 3 tiles is 100%. We'll see what Nigel reckons very soon. He reckons that
He's going to play it.
Quell is winningest.
Because, yeah, that's basically the one nightmare scenario in which you lose. That Parados is on the opponent's rack. That's basically the one time you lose.
So we've got a real tournament on our hands here. Nigel Richards draws back level with David Eldar. They're going to have 25 wins apiece with 8 rounds to play. David Eldar with a spread lead over Nigel, but that's about to be knocked off by another couple of 100 points here. So stick with us.
This is good news for the rest of the field. Eldar was 2 games clear, and no longer is that the case. He's going to be up on most everyone by spread, but no longer anyone with a distinct win advantage. It's just a matter of spread. I'll see if I can do a quick wander in the room and check on some updates from other games. I'll be right back.
No worries. I'll see you guys through what I'm sure is going to be a compelling endgame from David Eldar. Guys in the crew, it'd be great to get a shot of the live board showing the clock times here, just so we can see how much thinking time Dave has for this end game. As I'm sure the viewers will agree, if this were a close contest where it came down to the end game plays, we'd be on the edge of our seats, because this is no straightforward end game at all. Thank you very much. So we can see that Dave has 7.5 minutes, plenty of thinking time to plan his out in... well, I don't know actually if Dave is going to be the one going out. But if so, it'll probably be an out in 3. And Jesse's back in the booth. What's up?
So it's definitely over halfway through for Mark and Mohamed Surya. It's 314 to 278 in Harshen's favor at the moment over Mark. And meanwhile, Alistair and Esther are long done. Alistair absolutely crushed Esther by 200 something.
Wow.
So he's on a continuously good run, working his way up.
Day for him, yeah. We haven't seen him on table 1 yet, but he's well worthy of being there. However, he's bit off the top 5.
Because there was a gap between the top 5 players and the rest of the field. So Esther at 23 wins still. Alistair now at 22. Esther's losing some of that spread and is going to be passed by Harshen if he wins. But if Mark wins, he'll pass her too. So Esther's going to drop to 4th regardless of who wins here.
And I think unless I'm very, very badly misreading these standings, I think we're guaranteed David versus Nigel for the final 2 games of the day.
Yep.
Which looks good to me.
Yeah, they're just going to keep on being quality.
Love that Senvi play from Nigel. Oh, here's something I can think of to say. Don't think we quite got through all the 12s ending in woman. I think we had working woman, servicewoman, countrywoman and councilwoman, as well as the new weatherwoman, all getting nominated. 2 others, co-chairwoman, which I think was available from the pool when I asked the question.
That is nice.
And laundry woman.
Cool.
Pretty cool. Which is a woman who collects or delivers laundry, Jesse. Could you have guessed that?
No way. Shocking development. Do you think laundryman works?
I'm going to say so. Otherwise it's pretty bad gender bias.
No, laundryman
there would be.
Yeah. Oliver, the S in Senvi blocks possible 9s through AL, or at least extensions, if not 9s, over to 8A.
And in addition to that, Nigel was drawing to a very Val-deficient pool on a board where the S wasn't of that much value in terms of hooking. So there are at least 3 separate reasons why playing that S was a good idea. So we're being told that Nigel goes out in 2 here. Personally, I have no idea what his play is. I assume that hooking quells is part of it, with something like Scupper, SCAPA, or perhaps something even better. KSO might be a handy little tile for the endgame. Nigel, of course, saved it for himself. Risked the loss against Parados, but we were told from those with Quackle that it still did better than playing a short word in the F column, and I'm not entirely surprised by that. It looked like there were quite a few bingo plays that Dave could have had. Yeah, Soa is a nice word.
Yep.
Don't know quite where the CAG goes.
Although Soa must have the S or the A, or the S or the I or the E at the end. I don't believe it works on its own like that.
Is that right? Yeah, you're right. Damn you. So maybe it's Scarpa and Go. Apparently not.
Who can? Somehow it's optimal. You know it has to be if he's played it.
I think someone once found a game where Nigel lost 1 point of equity in an endgame.
Huh. Really?
A few of us tried for a while specifically to find one.
And you finally did.
Someone found one where he lost 1 point.
César, ¿por qué me ganas en esta manera? Why? You beat me, and you think so is a word. Ads are.
I'm looking around without much enthusiasm to see what Dave might do here. He really has very few plays, actually. I think he's probably trying to figure out if it's worth dumping the F off, or if he can somehow scrounge a few more points elsewhere and keep it.
So David Eldar under 4 minutes now left to play with on his clock, and Nigel just under 8. While we wait for this endgame to play out, just out of curiosity, guys, those of you who have been watching several of our other forms of broadcast this year, how are you finding this format of presentation compared to the Mind Sports setup and compared to the Twitch setup for the North American Championship? Are there pros to this format? Are there cons? What do you think of this particular form? There was an attempt to capitalize on the good aspects of both of the previous, so please let us know what you think and how we can make it even better.
Jason says, not even sure what Nigel would do to work on his strategy. He doesn't use Quackle. I know that Nigel does review other players' games online. He definitely does that. And he says that he sort of eavesdrops on other players' conversations at tournaments and takes away ideas that he thinks are good as well. I've definitely had that chat with him. I don't think he's taken any of my ideas there.
Probably not.
Harsh, but fair.
Neither of mine, I'm sure. Yeah, I think Nigel definitely nagged some of us with some of the things that he says. Absolutely. Thank you, Joel, for your feedback. I pretty much like this presentation format as well. I think it has the most going for it. I think there's pros and cons to each one, but I think this one has the most of all the pros. And Oliver, yes, the one particular day for the North American Championship, NASPA did have a livelier quote-unquote chat going on, but that was due to the high concentration of trolls and no one there to moderate, which made our job as commentators miserable at the time.
Look at this cheeky little endgame from Nigel. Makes me tired just looking at it.
And Ying, yeah, if the smartboard actually worked consistently, I would certainly prefer it as well, but we do know of the problems with it, and there's certain reasons why they haven't been completely resolved yet, so on that basis, yes, I think I like this one a bit better, but I do like the potential of the smartboard when it's working.
Nigel, in effect, slow playing Dave. He's choked up with consonants and running up his margin a little bit here at the end. Still not worth going out for Nigel. Dumps the S onto Zar. No outplay for Dave, I guess.
Colin, with this particular format, that's not possible just because it's the Quackle interface being used completely unchanged, and as far as I recall, that does not happen in Quackle. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the color difference in Quackle is usually just to indicate Colin's only words for people who are coming over from TWL play, but I don't recall if you can change the color for each player.
David can make a play here. He can dump the R or the E for 2 points.
Cesar, there was constant.
3 points up there. Sorry, Jesse.
That's fine. Yeah, 3 points up there. Crackle, the advantage for that Ying is that there is automatic scoring, so we don't have to worry about scoring inaccuracies, which is one problem with the smart board at times. And Cesar, it's hard to say if half of them were trolls for the NASC broadcast, but there were a lot. I had to spend a lot of times censoring and silencing them because, unfortunately, there was no one there doing their jobs as moderators. So there were some challenges.
So this one's all done. They finally played out their tiles, and it's 100-point or so win for the Beard. Bringing him, as we've said, level on wins with David Eldar, who still has a bit of a spread lead. So, very, very tight at the Causeway Challenge 2016. It's great to see.
Yes.
Just when he was breaking away, David Eldar has been pulled back, and we look forward to a couple of more good games between him and Nigel as day 4 closes out.
We have 2 rounds left to go, if I'm not mistaken, based on our current schedule. Oh wait, 1?
No, 2, I think.
2? Okay. Yeah, we have 2. So we'll be back in about 12 minutes time here at the Causeway Challenge for yet another round between Nigel and David Eldar at Table 1. We'll see you again soon.